I'm going to also put live on YouTube. Right now I am putting a live on YouTube. I need to make this explanation in the beginning. Inshallah, right now it's going on YouTube, public live, which thousands of people, inshallah, will join us later. Today, few hundreds and maybe thousand, but later people benefit from these meetings. Okay, right now we are, okay, we are on YouTube also. Assalamu alaikum, people. It is 22nd of August, 2020. Today I picked option for Zoom, the option of authentication. I thought it would authenticate emails, but as it appears that it requires signing on Zoom. It is free though, but it creates another level of access to here. Therefore, we have fewer people. Some people do not know what to do. And we have technical issue, Houston, on WhatsApp group, where not WhatsApp group, broadcasting, I shared it with 256 people. And some of them cannot make it because they don't know how to authenticate or whatever, they have problem. But this is beautiful. We have a small group of participants. Today we are going to discuss, I will have very short presentation of COVID-19, which I believe it is the greatest discovery in human history in terms of scientific and philosophical discovery. And then later open up for questions, objections, and discussion. And we have, let's see who we have here. Just fast, Jafar Bektash from Netherlands, Najafi from Oregon, Üstün Yıldız from New Jersey. You change your name, my Kazakh friend from Almaty. And I cannot even read your name now. Anyway, I know your name, but since you want to use another name, Lia, Ilya, whatever it is. Cenk Ülker, welcome.
Merhaba abi.
Merhaba. Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Adana, Turkey, but I live in Kentucky.
Okay, you are joining us from Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
Azmath Rahiman, you are from Pakistan or Bangladesh? Tell me. You need to unmute your voice, your microphone. Okay.
I'm in Connecticut, Edip.
Oh, you are from Connecticut.
Yep.
You are right. Azmath,
Yep.
from now on, it just bothers me. I am somehow literally, I have certain scrupulousness, like your first, the first letters of your name and last name must be capital. I know the new generation, the telephone generation, internet generation doesn't care about those, but somehow I'm a little bit older generation. When you make those kind of errors, bothers me. Okay. Okay, next time you hopefully. Mushtaba, welcome. You are from Bangladesh, I believe. Ashkul Islam. Okay. Now, the question is whether there is God, and God means an intelligent creator of universe, which includes us. And second, whether that God is intelligent. Of course, God kind of implies intelligence. And also whether that God or creator, X, Y, Z, whatever you call, whether communicate with us, care about us. These are major question since the beginning of the first humans, because we come to this planet Earth without our choice. We just open our eyes to a universe, a world which open for discoveries. We cannot predict the rules of nature. Without putting our finger first into the fire, we will not know that fire is burning. Without tasting the pepper, we will not know that pepper has that taste, or cherry has sour taste. And without opening our eyes, we cannot know the rainbow and all the things we learn. Without trying it, without seeing it, we will not know whether water will go upward or downward. These are the things a posteriori we discover. We cannot know ahead of the time. However, we are born with rules of logic, with sense of mathematics, which is a priori, means before experimenting, before experiencing, we have that machine in us, that or called logic program in us. We are a program. And therefore, these questions with the first human being, you come to this planet Earth, you come into existence, or I come into existence. Well, non-existence seems the norm. Why I exist? And who am I? Why I'm not this plant or this little insect? Why I came as a human being, correct? I could be elements in the ground, or a plant or an animal, but I come up as a human being. Why on this particular geography? Why not somewhere else? Why this particular time? Why not at another time? Why this particular parent? I didn't design my genetic code, my personality, or I am a handsome person, but I didn't design myself, correct? I'm very smart, intelligent, but I didn't create, neither my illiterate parents. They have no clue about the synapses and dendrites in my brains, neurons and cells, about atoms. And therefore, we are born in a very complicated, at the same time, intelligible universe. Means we can understand the more we study, the more we learn, the more we are able to predict, and the more we are able to also take advantage of the laws, rules. For example, we know the thermodynamics, the rules, the laws, and then we create air conditioner. We create these computers and TVs and everything so far we have created. And all was imminent in this universe since the beginning. All these creation, what we have, all the laws and ingredients that allowed us to create this technology or our brain, everything was from the first point of the Big Bang, it was determined. Therefore, we are fulfillment of what determined in the beginning. Now, the question is whether there is God. To me, as a philosopher, I see it as a very obvious, self-evident question. I see atheism is a mental block, very silly or childish, not childish. I don't want to demean children. Children are philosophers. It is really nonsense. Atheism has no validity as a philosophy. It's a bankrupt philosophy. However, to me, it is very easy. I think no atheist can survive an argument on behalf of monotheism. Polytheism cannot survive too. And if you see in my book, 19 questions for atheists, Turkish, 10 questions were translated. I want to show you so that anyone who is curious about can check it. It has also Kindle version, PDF version. The 19 question in Turkish, but we couldn't translate all together. There are some reasons, therefore we ended up with 10 questions. The other 9 questions are more theological questions, and these are philosophical questions. Therefore, atheism is bankrupt, has no chance, and also is really darkness. A smart atheist is doomed to be depressed and nihilistic. And a not so smart atheist is doomed to be a hedonistic atheist. But theism, as far as concerned, in theism means there is God, there is a creator of the universe, but I don't know whether that creator of universe cares about me, or whether he even send me any communication, any message about himself, or about itself, or about the purpose of life. And I think 19, the discovery of 19, which is a historical discovery, the very time of the discovery is a prophecy, incredible prophecy. And it answers that question in affirmative. Yes, there is creator of the universe, and that creator of the universe cares about us. And there is a purpose in our life here. In a short time we are here, and we are tested somehow. Of course, we do not have all the answers, but we have some answers. As I said, it is the time of the discovery is also the prophetic, and the word prophetic, like many concepts, terminology, is also abused. And you see Nostradamus, prophecies of Nostradamus, prophecies of these, prophecies of psychics. It is really abused for something that doesn't deserve to be prophecy. When I say prophecy, I'm talking about very specific information. Simply just summarize for you. Let me first share with you the cover of this book, which I discuss, I present the code 19, and also, let me see, how can I go? I don't know, the next one, how can I go to the next page? I have to stop share. And here is one more, the summary of 19. Okay. I want to pull your attention, but after this one, I'm opening to discussion. These examples, it is very easy, the definition of code 19. Letters, words, verses, and chapters of the Quran are structured in a way to be multiple of number 19. And it is as an interlocking mathematical system. Therefore, the Quran is a numerical book, numerically coded book. Kitabun Marqum. Now, let me see, where am I? Okay. Please mute yourself. Someone is, if you don't mute, sometimes it makes noise, background. Okay. If you see here, people, the number of letters in Bismillah, the first statement of the Quran, it's 19 letters. Ironically and interestingly, after the discovery of number 19, some religious scholars, some of them have impressive study of Arabic and religion and stuff. Some of them professors in universities. In fact, one of them was the head of religious affairs in Turkey, Turkish religious affairs. On public TV, this guy, millions of people watching it, was the most watched live TV program that time. and confronted me, and there was also a professor of mathematics. His name Süleyman Ateş, Professor Süleyman Ateş, the former head of religious affairs. And on live TV, this guy looked in the eyes of millions of people. He lied about the number of letters in Basmala. No one discussed that in the past. No one rejected. In fact, anyone who mentions Basmala's number of letters in Basmala, any kind of scholar or any person, they would say 19 letters. Few mentioned that one, like Jami in his divan, starting his divan, or Fakhreddin Razi in his Tafsiri Kabir, or even in Tibyan Tafsir, very famous in Ottoman time, Said Nursi, and many others who mentioned, even Ibn Kathir, tangentially referred to the number of letters in Basmala as 19. And if you even ask to Microsoft Word, copy and paste Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in Arabic, and ask count the number of letters in it, will count exactly 19 letters. If you ask Arabic speaking children who are in elementary school, count how many letters in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, go to third graders, let them, there are 28 letters in Arabic. They will all find out 19 letters. But after the discovery of number 19, serious scholars, they kind of opposed the simple fact, as simple as sun rises from east, 2 times 2 equals 4. Physical fact that no one questioned, but they did it. This is another miracle. The miracle is such an incredible stuff that opposing the miracle, ignoring the miracle itself becomes a miracle. They don't see it, something that other people can easily see independent from each other, but you see some very well-educated people, they absolutely become blind to the obvious facts. And that is the very nature of miracles. According to the Quran, everyone is not going to witness miracles. In fact, during time of prophets also, when Jesus showed miracles, not everyone was impressed by it. They made up lies. They basically interpreted it as a magic. Or when Muhammad brought the Quran, some said, well, this is nonsense. This is the story of the old times. But some were impressed by its language, but its certain message that has extraordinary information in it. Some of the information that people 1400 years ago, they received from the Quran, we are not able to receive that because their generation had certain knowledge that the Quran related to that. And then those people who have open mind and heart, they were able to see the extraordinary nature of the Quran. In 19 questions for atheists, I gave examples, potential examples of those language of the Quran that it is lost for us now, but those people, most likely they understood much more. And also the Quran came synchronous to their lives. Therefore, they were able to relate verses and read in between the lines and understand the reference of the verse, and for them could be a prophecy, but for us no more. And the Quran in chapter 2, verse 106, in fact, refers to this one, says, if a sign, a miracle, ayat in singular form means miracle, sign, proof. If a proof, a sign is lost or is forgotten, will bring similar or better than that. Therefore, each generation, they are provided with extraordinary evidence and proof regarding the authenticity of the book, regarding the divine nature of the book, and they are able to access to that information according to their own time. we are right now the computer of generation. We are generation of computer. For us is this numerical structure of the Quran. And then every word in Bismillah, if you look at this thing, you will see each of them are multiple of 19. And then the attributes of God, more than 100 attributes of God, only 4 of them multiple of 19, they're numerical values, and they exactly correspond to the frequency of the words in Bismillah. It becomes an interlocking, complete system table. And anyone who has scientific investigation will say, what about that? We'll be able to predict the next one. And I was able, in fact, to hypothesize one of those names, which I found the name attribute Shaheed, God's attribute. And hold on, one more 100 attributes of God only for his numerical value. Yeah, anyway, I have, there are 3 tables. I'm talking about another table. I don't want to go to details right now. Anyway, and also the Quran starts, 19 chapters of the Quran has independent verses. The first independent verses are letters or numbers like Alif Lam Mim, ALM, which is 71, their numerical value, or like Qaf, Q, or like Hamim, HM, which is 48. And they initialized 29 chapters. In the beginning of 19 of them, they are independent. And no one knew the meaning of these letters. They call it Huruf al-Muqatta, means cut, isolated letters, which they were also numbers during the revelation. During the time of revelation, people, Arabs, were using letters for numbers like Roman alphabet. And therefore, they have multiple meanings. And now we know, after discovery of 19, minimum 3 meanings of these letters. And one of them is related to number 19. Their frequencies are multiple of 19. We have still problem with a few of them, but the ones so far we have verified their count. They create an incredible interlocking mathematical system. And let's go to the time of discovery. This number 19 was mentioned in chapter 74. It is, the chapter is known as the secret or the hidden one, the same thing. And it was hidden, the meaning of 19 or implication of number 19 until 1974. Think about it. Number 19, عليها 19, is only mentioned in chapter 74 as a response, as a rebuttal against an ingrate who claims that the Quran is made up by Muhammad, is a human-made book. And as a response to that one comes, and it is in chapter 74, 19, and it is discovered in 1974. Exactly 19 times 74 lunar years after the revelation of the Quran or this particular verse. And the first 2 verses of this chapter makes one statement. Some verses are not whole statement, but the first statement of this chapter, Ya ayyuhal muddathir qum fa'anzir, O the hidden one, the secret, come out and warn. And this statement has exactly 19 letters, and the numerical values of these letters add up to what? Exactly the time that secret came out and started warning people, 1974. And therefore, these just three numbers coming 1974 and becoming exactly the same, the number of chapter and the number that is mentioned in that chapter, it shows an incredible prophecy that whoever designed this also controlled I have to say, cannot talk now. I'm sorry. Therefore, that thing also controlled the mind of the people regarding this discovery, because Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran. God is the teacher of the Quran. And the Quran is mubin, muhkam, means the majority of verses of the Quran has one meaning, but there are some verses of the Quran, God says it has multiple meaning. With time, the meaning will become evident. It takes time, and also people of knowledge will know about that. And chapter 20, verse 114 of the Quran says, if you don't understand something, a verse, a statement in the Quran, don't rush into making up a meaning about it. Hold your judgment, wait, God will teach you. Say, God, increase my knowledge. And the Quran repeatedly tells people that the signs will come in the future. In fact, from the mouth of Prophet Muhammad tells us, the Quran, that some secret of the Quran will be revealed in the future. قُلْ فَانْتَظِرُوا وَإِنِّي مَعَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُنْتَظِرِينَ. They ask for signs. God tells Muhammad, says, tell them, قُلْ فَانْتَظِرُوا, you wait, وَإِنِّي مَعَكُمْ مِنَ الْمُنْتَظِرِينَ. I am too waiting for that. And there are a lot of prophecies in the Quran related to his number 19. I have lists of them, they come about. And like chapter 72, filled with prophecies. Chapter 27, like Dabbatan min al-ard, before the end of the world, God will bring about a creature from earthly material, not from water. And this creature will speak to people, will tell that majority of people who claims to be believers, they are not really believers, or they do not really trust God. This is exactly number 19 prove that. Imagine for about 1406 lunar years, means 19 times 74 lunar years, many people try to understand the meaning of number 19 in chapter 74. Many people try to understand the meaning of letter Qaf or Hamim or Elif Lamim or Yasin. They were unable. None of them. Listen, they were very smart people among them. Some of them genius, some of them idiot. They wrote volumes of books, commentaries of the Quran. Variety of people, from idiots to really genius. They all wondered about the meaning of these letters in the beginning of chapter. They all could not understand what does Anit 19 means, how this number 19 will increase the faith of believers, how will convince people of the book regarding the authenticity of the Quran. They had no clue. But some of them did not rush into making up things like Muhammad and true believers. They said there is something secret here. It will be unveiled when God wants. They didn't make up things about them, but many Sunnis and Shiites, they make up stories, Jahannam, hell, this will be this and that, and they made up stories. But none of them thought about counting the letter Qaf. Goodness sake, even me. I was studying the Quran. I memorized part of the Quran, but when I started chapter Qaf, what does Qaf mean? Goodness sake, it tells you this chapter has this Qaf. Just count, see whether there is any connection. Not a single person thought about counting those letters that initialize the chapters in the chapter. That is by itself fascinating, because the time of the discovery was destined. It could not be Muhammad, but group of people. First of all, if Muhammad or anyone put this counted the letters and words and verses and so much from simple to very intricate pattern, and somehow did not tell anyone. They basically planted, put so much effort, a tree, they did not want its fruit. And according to atheists or Christians, he was a lawyer, okay? If a person is a lawyer and wants to deceive people, do you think that person will put so much effort in something and will not benefit from it? And also, he was able to determine the time of the discovery, because whoever it is put number 19 in chapter 74, and the discovery time was 19 times 74 lunar years in year number 1974. And guess what? The guy who discovered was a monotheist, was not a fanatic, an ignorant religious scholar priest who's making money from religion. He was a decent scientist, a courageous monotheist, and his name also was mentioned in the Quran with the derivatives of his name exactly 19 times. I want to stop here and let me open it for discussion. This took about 40 minutes, longer than I expected. And this is a great thing, because by witnessing this miracle, it removes all your doubt about God, about purpose of life, and about resurrection, eternal life. And this is the greatest gift a person can get. This is like, compared to infinity, this worldly life is like a second, in fact, less than a second. And whatever we gain here, we are going to lose. Therefore, whatever in this world, it is nothing compared to what you will gain by witnessing this miracle, by becoming a mu'min, a person who trusts God, who has no doubt about God and about eternal life. Yes. Anyone would like to have a question or objection, discussion? It's open.
Edip, can I ask something, please?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Edip, you said that you still had some problems with a few of the letters.
Who is talking, by the way? I want to find out.
It's me.
Okay.
Jaffer.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to know, what kind of problems do you see in some of the letters? You said we have some problems with them. Which letters are they from the Harf
The letter Elif, it is not authenticated yet because there are a lot of additions in letter Elif. There are in some manuscripts. Therefore, it requires a study, a decent study, comprehensive study over the oldest manuscripts and maybe pages to find a standard of writing. And for example, the word, let's say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Elif is missing there, Bismi. It is written without Elif to make it unique writing of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is 19 letter. Bismi, after B, there is no Elif. But chapter 96, I believe, of the Quran is start with Iqra. It is called Alaq, chapter embryo, but it is start Iqra Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord who created. And therefore, that Bismi over there is Elif in it. It is pronounced the same, it means the same, but it's spelled out differently, which is this authentic. We have authenticated these one, but other places there are differences, and we have discovered some spelling errors in today's manuscripts based on the code, and then it was supported, confirmed by oldest manuscripts, like the spelling of Bastatan in chapter 7, verse 69, or like the spelling of Wahid, the word Wahid, in today's manuscripts, Rasmi Uthmani is without Elif, but it must have Elif because its numerical value must be number 19 and similar things. Therefore, we have problem with that. perhaps we have a problem with also ha or te, and like in taha, because I do think that needs more to be elegant their count. But these are very few things. Majority of things are incredible, impressive. Any person with the objective mind, with good mind, if studies this one, will find out it is, the system is there and it is extraordinary. It cannot be manufactured by all humans. In fact, we have right now new discoveries over this, and the just structure of Basmala is unique. In Arabic, you cannot came up with any other statement that will show the numerical qualities that it has. And day by day, we are learning more. Recently also, the structure of the chapters, there was a Professor Raymond, we had a Zoom discussion with him. He also discovered there are 19, in terms of 19 categories or 19 set of structures there, the chapters. He found a symmetry in the design of the chapters. I don't know whether you are aware of it, that topically they are symmetric, like chapters, the first topic A, and second topic B, and third topic C, and then goes to B and to A, B, C, B, A. There are three ways it goes, or A, B, C, A, B goes, A, B, and A, B, or there are, I'm sorry, I confused, A, B, or A, B, A, or A, B, C, B, A. There are three different ways it goes. Very interesting. Initially, people thought it is basically haphazard, random, but it is like double helix, like genetic code, how it is goes symmetric. The Quran goes also go in pairs. Therefore, there is description of the Quran, al-mathani, means in pairs. And even chapters, they are complementing each other. They are similar to each other. Very interesting. And in the past, just a few years before, we didn't know about this, but someone sees it, wow, it's not haphazard. Everything has a reason. Even the repetition in the Quran is incredible. Like in the past, some people who studies genetic code, human genome, they thought there are a lot of repetitions. These are trash, they thought. These are trash from all times in evolutionary history. Humans we had certain genes, now we don't need it anymore, but they are just residue, a trash among our genes. But later they found out they were so wrong. Those repetitions, those things they thought trash, had very important purpose. And the same with this one, the repetition of the verses has incredible purposes. For example, right now, several mathematicians are studying, our friends together. In fact, they are atheists. One of them became a believer. He believed in the Quran after his discovery. Soon we'll be sharing with you. Atheists and agnostic mathematicians, we hire them to study the repetitions of the Quran and relating to them like the Facebook does. Facebook relates you and your connections according to commonalities, how much common you have between you and this person, and create kind of a network around you. And people are connected to you close. Those who have, let's say, 5 friends, 6 friends, 10 friends, their proximity, or sharing the same hobbies, how many hobbies they are sharing with you. They are put in topical connection or personal connection in different networks. And the same way the verses, we ask them to use this program to relate verses according to the repetition of the words. Let's say you find 3 words in a verse, you find these three words, they are repeated in the same order in some other verses. And you create a network that all other verses have these three words or four words. It's incredible the way you see their relationship with each other. They create a very interesting semantic network group. And therefore, one of the mathematicians who initially atheist, after discovering, he found out very impressive stuff, he became believer of the Quran. And you will hear, God willing, soon will be presenting these as on the net as a program that you can also, you do your own research on it. Pick and choose the words and see the semantic network of those, the connections. And therefore the Quran is an incredible book. And at the same time, the way you look at it, it can appear to be very simple, meaningless, a random book. I can look at it that way. But when you look at the other way, my God, is incredible. Every letter and choice of words has a purpose. Very precise book. Incredible. But people somehow, they don't want, it's like 3D holograph. It's really like 3D holograph. You know, it is 100% objective and 100% subjective. What I mean, I have here somewhere, I don't know, here. These are the holograph. Anyway, I know from here, reflection, you will not be able to see it. But when you have this one, some people will look at it, will say, wow, I saw this picture. And they will see elephant, and there is also a baby elephant in the forest. And there independently, people will see exactly the same picture. That means it is objective, because they don't hear each other what they saw. They will describe exactly the details of the same picture, independent from each other. But at the same time, you will see some people will look at it, ha, 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 ha. These are random dots. There is no really elephant, as you say. Hey, look at it. And some people will look at it exactly, they will not see. Because in order to see this one in holographic picture, you need to give a chance, especially when you hear independent people, when they testify for that, you need to give a chance and stand a certain distance from this picture, the holographic three-dimensional random dots, and open both eyes and concentrate on it, look at it for a while. If you don't do that, you say, come on, these are just people made it up. They are just hallucinating. Numerology, this is thing. And then you don't look at it, focus it for maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute. Yeah, you look at it. Of course, you will not see it. In fact, they do worse than that. Why they look at it, they close one eye. Hey, I don't see it. Or go far away. I don't see it. Or deliberately come close, find few errors in our counting while ignoring the whole thing, incredible thing. Here, there is something over there. And of course, you will not see it if you come too close to a holographic picture. And some of them even backward, they look backward. They put their hands under, inside their feet, their legs, and they look at it backward. They say, I don't see it. These are atheists, Christians, Hindus, Sunnis, Shiites. They do like this, unbelievable. In order not to see it, they do everything, and they are not able to see it. And therefore, it is 100% also subjective, because your intention, if you don't want to see it, if you want to challenge it, you don't have good intention, because if you are calculating this, if I witness this, I will lose my friends. If I witness this, I will lose my salary because I am a clergyman making money from these stupid Sunnis or Shiites or Hindus. I will lose my job. Or I will be declared by other scientists as someone who believes in numerology. These are the certain calculation passes through people's mind before even. They make initial judgment. I will not see it, they say, and they will never see it. And they will start hating it. And you will see, this is number 19, is the most hated number in the world. They even killed the guy who discovered it. Imagine, from 38 countries, the Sunni scholars, the leaders of the Sunnis from 38 countries, in 1989, they gathered in Medina under the leadership of Abdul Aziz bin Baz, the Saudi cleric, the blind cleric. He was not only physically blind, he was mentally and spiritually blind person. And then they came up with a fatwa that Rashad and Rushdie, it was about Rushdie, but they added Rashad, are apostates, means according to their religion, should be killed. According to 4 mazahib of Sunni religion, even Shiite religion, unfortunately, they are evil because they want to kill people who do not believe like them or who leave their religion. And they did it. They killed this guy. They hate so much. And therefore, the cover of my book, let me show you that one. Okay, where is it? I want to show you this cover. Running Like Zebras. Have you seen it? Okay.
I've also read it. And I have one more question. Can you answer that one too, please?
Okay. Just
small question.
I couldn't open this one. Okay, here. Running Like Zebras. And there is one name I feel bad to add here, Carl Sagan, because Carl Sagan was really different than others. He objected, but his objection was based on very good questions. It was not a dogmatic objection. And in fact, after the last round of our discussion, he sent a letter. As an outsider, he really asked good questions, but he said, of course, I might be wrong. With a very humble, cautious word, he did it. He was not maliciously rejecting it like Abu Amina Bilal Phillips, like Daniel Romax, like Amen, like Michael Shermer, like James Randi, like several others here, John Cohen. And therefore, this is a discussion with them on internet. And with Michael Shermer, I had a face-to-face discussion. He really escaped like zebra because in Skeptic, in his magazine, he had criticism of number 19. In fact, several times they published that one. But when came face-to-face discussing it, he tried to escape and created excuses. While the cover, in fact, of his Skeptic magazine of that month was the Quran. And, but it is on video. The others I had written debate discussion on that. This is a very good book. Anyone who is interested in detailed argument, this debate on this, could get this one. It also has PDF for free. I don't make money from my books on religion or on number 19, by the way. Okay, questions?
Edip, can I have one more question, please?
Go ahead, more question and objection.
Okay. Okay, my question is about Surah Qalam, the chapter that starts with the letter Nun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one in most of the Qurans, it's written with only one Nun, but in the Quran of Rashad, it says that it has two Nuns and a waw between. So my question is, I understand that if it's if in the original Quran you use two noons, but are you also counting the waw as a letter?
Okay, hold on.
Chapter 68.
Hold on. I know. Okay. Yes, I knew that. That was, you know, when we look for an answer, you know, when the guy Mendeleev discovered the periodic table, initially he made some guesses, some of them came wrong. It is in all scientific investigation, you are looking for a pattern, for law, for certain things, and then in the beginning, you may come up with the idea, with the theory, but the details, in some of the details, you make the wrong. There are always a correction and approximation to the truth. And the same with this one. And when we find out there is one noon is missing, not 5, not 8, or not more, not less, just 1. And the suspicion came to noon, 1 noon. It was a suggestion. It was not, there was no any proof. And we thought that it must be perhaps noon, 1 noon, the beginning. But later with time, when I studied it, I found out this may not be the case. And because it creates the question that you asked, what about wow, correct? It becomes very thing, and we don't have any archaeological evidence, because we might have, because for wahid, I didn't have it for more than 30 years, but when a hadith professor challenged me regarding the spelling of letter wahid, and I was able to, that time I got enough motivation to search for it, and I found more than 24 examples of pages, fragments in various libraries, museums, and spatial collections, wahid written with alif. And therefore, this one, I suspect that the problem is with the reading of verse 42 of the same chapter. 68 verse 42, let me open for you. How can I?
They will come when they will be exposed, and they will be required to fall prostrate, but they will be
unable to. Here.
But
do you see it? I don't know right now. يوم يكشف. It is a, come on. يوم يكشف عن ساق ويدعون إلى السجود فلا يستطيعون. And the day will come when they will be exposed and they will be required to prostrate, but they will be not able to. There is a not is missing here. They will be able, unable to. Yeah, that's correct. I'm sorry. Okay, now here it is. Right now I am suggesting that the real reading of these should be this way. The day will come when we expose them. Instead of they will be exposed, we expose them. يوم نكشف instead of يكشف, it should be, I think in the original one, it was nekshifu, and then later it was read in past passive voice. It should be يوم نكشف عن ساق ويدعون إلى السجود فلا يستطيعون. And this is my suggestion, but still the question is out there. I do believe that there will be one day this will be also archaeologically supported, like the other two was supported. You know, the other two examples are important. It is proof beyond doubt that this is the numerical structure of the Quran with error correction function. One was the spelling of Bastatan in today's manuscripts. If you look at all the manuscripts right now available, Bastatan in chapter 7, verse 69, it is spelled with letter Sad and over it little sin. And in some manuscripts it says, Yuqra'u bis-sin, it is read with sin, but it's written with Sad. And when Rashad Khalifa discovered there was one extra letter Sad in 3 chapters starting with Sad, initially for many years, we calculated, even I counted, it was 152, multiple of 19. Rashad's computer count was also 152. I experienced myself that God allowed me to make the mistake in the beginning, because while I was in prison, I was counting, verifying these counts. And that was also another blessing from God. I was in prison. I had about 30 people from my own organization. I was the leader of Islamist organization called Al-Kanjilar. In 1980, I was 23 years old. I was put in prison. That time I had Ahmed Deedat's book, Quran, the Ultimate Miracle. I just had gotten from him several weeks before in an international conference, youth conference, for 2 weeks. It was camp, youth camp and conference from 42 countries. Youth leaders participated. I was representing the Turkish youth. And I had the book, but outside, I was so busy with this stupid organization, political organization, I was not able even to read, to study, do anything. I promised him, I said, I want to study and translate it for several reasons. But I couldn't keep my promise. I was busy with this organization, with hide and seek with police, with rallies and protests and this and that. My brother got killed just 1 year before. I was very busy in that. And God said, nope, it is time for you to go to prison. And it was one of the best things happened to me. I had torturous times, but through prison, God detoxicated me because they were not allowing books, hadith books, and so many books in the most they would allow Quran or a few other books. That's it. There was no library there. Therefore, for 4 years, I was detoxicated from these books of hadith and fiqh, which poisoned my mind. I had to read the Quran, study the Quran, and do some mathematics and stuff that I could mentally get busy with those, and play chess. Outside, I never play chess. Inside, I learned. Therefore, God detoxicated me that. At the same time, gave me a whole world of young people. 24 hours they are there. They have nothing to do. Most of them could read the Quran, and most of them could not understand the Quran. But for counting letters, all I needed, people manually could count. And I divide them into 3 groups. I made 3 groups of 9 of them. I delegated them out of 30. I picked the best. And I said, 3 of you independently count these letters. I didn't give them the letter Elif. I knew there was a problem that time in the manuscripts. I knew that it is beyond me. But the other letters like letter Qaf or Sad or Hamim, which they did. And if 3 groups came exactly the same number that is the same in the book, becomes 4 independent witnesses, I would have no doubt about that. And they did it. And the letter Sad, very interesting, all 3 groups, they counted as 152. This is something I lived. God's power, God's control. In fact, the manuscripts we were counting the letters in, they had 153. Interestingly, Rashad Khalifa's computer count made one error when he did it in 19 69, he got the results in 1973. He published a book about the frequency of letters, the density of letters in initials, in chapters starting with initials. And in 1974, he discovered they are all multiple of 19. But he published his early book, no mention in 19. In 1973, I have that book. It is no mention of 19. In fact, his introduction is the end of 1973, the last, I think it was October. And interestingly, no one knew that in today's manuscript, we had 153 thoughts. But God, if that time I discovered 153, one extra than multiple of 19, that time I would have problem with that number 19. I wouldn't be translating the book. I wouldn't be promoting it because I expected perfection. And God allowed me not to see it because my faith, my knowledge of number 19 was not sufficient to trust it as a witness, as a God's number that authenticate the Quran, that make error corrections. But after witnessing it, and me and the whole world, for 11 years, in fact, this was about that, yeah. And then God says, okay, here are a few errors in the manuscripts. I preserve the Quran, Kitabun Marqum, not the manuscript necessarily. Manuscripts, human contribution there, human intervention, the script, the scribe can make an error or add words or subtract or burn the pages. God did not protect the manuscripts. God protected the Quran, which is numerical book. And therefore, when we discovered these ones, thought extra, Rashad Khalifa, when first sent me this information, I was in Istanbul. I hadn't met him. It bothered me very much. I was still had a Sunni mindset. I thought God preserved the manuscript through our great ancestors' human effort. But that time I was not really well appreciating the preservation of the Quran by God. Inna, we, through angels, God uses angels. Numbers are also God's angels. Inna, we, nahnu, we, nazzalna, we revealed this, revealed al-dhikr, the dhikr, the message. Wa inna, it is we, lahu lahafizun, we will preserve it. 5 times emphasis on God, and God's angels means controllers, powers that use in this universe. Not you, not your ancestors, not Sahaba, not these great holy people. It is me, I am going to preserve it. And through his preferred picked number 19, which is numerical value of Wahid, God is one, the main message of God. Means all of us, we need to save us from idols, from idolizing humans or money or anything. We should only submit to devote ourselves to the creator of the universe. We have all the best attributes, who is the truth. Therefore, we should submit to truth. God is Rahman, is love. We should submit to love. God is Muqsid, is just. We should submit. We should follow justice. God is Salam, is peace. Therefore, we should serve peace, submit to peace alone. Anyway, that's it. And then we saw it, and then I checked. I rejected this one. I was very upset because of this error in thought, in writing of this manuscript. I thought if there is an error in one letter, then can be an error in a word, in a verse. Well, how can it be? And then I went to Süleymaniye Library in Istanbul. I knew there was a copy of Tashkent there, which is not a full manuscript, but there are so many chapters there. And I prayed that I will find this page there, chapter 7, verse 69 there, which I found. I got permission from the director of the library. And then I checked, I found out exactly it was spelled like it was predicted by the number 19, by code 19, like Rashad predicted. It was Bastatan with sin, no little sin on it, no letter sought there. Therefore, now we know that initially this was written with sin, and later there was another manuscript. A scribe made an error, wrote it with Sod, and some other people proofread it, read it, and then made a correction, wrote sin on it, little sin on it. And then later, this became the norm, the erroneous one, the corrected version. How it became a norm, how it became the most popular, in fact, the only popular version right now, through fabricated hadiths. There are 3 hadiths. Those who misspell the word, in order to justify their misspelling against the correct writing of it, they made up 3 hadiths. In 6 hadith books, you will find hadith says, Jibreel, the angel of revelation, came to me and told me to write the word Bastatan with letter Sad. Lie. We know it now, it is a lie. Through mathematical code of the Quran, through one of the oldest manuscripts we have, now we know it is whole scenario. In order to justify their misspelling, those who misspelled, they fabricated 3 hadiths and they justified that way. And the same happened with letter Wahid. You know, this guy, hadith professor, I was very tired after 2 days and nights of symposium at University of Middle East Technical University, theology symposium, and the night people would come to hotel, 50, 60 people until morning. They would keep me busy because I came from the United States. They wanted to chat with me, talk. And therefore, after that, I had another conference in Bursa. And then from airport, someone took me. On the way to my hotel, I wanted to 5 hours to relax, to take a nap before the next evening conference in Bursa. And the guy who took me to the airport took me on the way to a gas station or restaurant or a little bit kind of cafe. There were pastries there too. And then he said, well, I have a friend of mine, he's professor of hadith, he wants to discuss with you number 19. I'm very tired, but when someone wants to discuss this issue, I cannot resist. I ended up sitting with him. He had already prepared. He was well rested, well prepared, had written many things, taking notes. And the cameraman, he was just set exactly across the cameraman. Everything was ready. And I was just half dead. This guy was even lying about something very obvious about my book. I wouldn't remember. But it was a good, one of the best discussion, one of the best debate, because I lost the show. He won the show. He made kind of a lot of gesture statements and stuff. He focused on 3 issues, ignoring the rest, you know, like holographic random dots picture. He was coming close to the dots, looking at some dots, the place of it is not right place, he was saying. And one of the points, 3 points he was harping on, he was accusing us of distorting, was the spelling of Wahid, God's attribute Wahid, which in our, according to our, the system, mathematical system, it must be written with Elif. It says you added letter Elif in it. Can you show me any manuscript, Rasmi Uthman, the official Usmani version, that is written with Elif? I said, no, I don't have. And in fact, I said, but number 19 is God's number. I prefer God's number to the number of the heads of the people, your ummah, which is 2 billion. I prefer God's number to that number. I trust God's number. God's number has proven in the past that it is the one authority. And I do believe there is an error correction here. In all these manuscripts, original manuscript, which Prophet Muhammad has written with his own hand, this must have been with Elif, not without Elif as today. Of course, people watch it. Oh, Edip lost. could not even show one single manuscript. And this guy was on his high horse. He was saying, the integrity of research, science, here you are doctoring, you are adding Elif to make it come multiple of 19. Guess what? 1 week later, I came to United States. I was upset with myself. I knew this problem, but I had exaggerated in my mind. I thought that it will take a lot of effort and money to go study all the 7 manuscripts around the world. I need to go to Cairo, to Moscow, Istanbul, I know, but to several other places, and then compare them and find out that some manuscripts will have Elif in it, in Wahid. But I was not able. Therefore, I always postponed that. But it was one question in my mind. And he was able to find it, and he was harping on it. I came to United States. I said, let me check internet. I didn't have hope that through a research, what kind of keywords I will use, find it. I didn't have much hope, but I said, let me try it. It took me 2 hours. I am very good in internet research. If I want to find something, I specifically go to those pages in few seconds, in less than 30 seconds. I'm a very good researcher. I know the details, tricks of internet research, but it took me about 2 hours. Finally, I found in one of the museums in Europe, the beginning of chapter Safat, chapter 37, the word Wahid, first time I see with my eyes in one of the oldest pages of the Quran, Wahid was written with Elif, Wahid. Of course, in today's manuscripts, you may see some Wahid with Elif, but they have so many extra Elifs. Therefore, it is not, he was not asking me about that. He was asking me about Rasm Usmani, okay? And first time, and then I put it on the Facebook that time. I say, here it is. Professor Halis Aydemir challenged me to find one manuscript. Here is, I found one. And then soon I receive a message from someone in France. I forgot his first name, Nehari, last name. And he says, Edip, guess what? I have more than 24 examples I found. Letter Wahid, the word Wahid is written with Elif. They are the oldest fragments, pages, and in museums, in special collections and libraries. And then I put all of them in a video. Here is, let me share you. This is impressive. I am done with it right now. I talk too much. Here it is. I want to show you this one. Okay, let's see. Where is the page? Here, do you see page Edip Yuksel Wahid? If you do it, here, this one. And Edip Yuksel Halis Aydemir ifşa oldu. Wahid ayetini I don't know whether you can hear, but here I give the summary of the events. Okay. You may not hear now. I don't know the sound of it. Okay, here. We brought all of these one by one. Okay. Okay, that's enough. You can watch that one. You will see there are more than 2,000 manuscripts confirming number 19.
Edip, can I comment if there are no other questions from the brothers and sisters?
Well, no one has questions besides you.
It's about, yeah, can I ask or comment on it?
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
It's about the authenticity of the Quran that Rashad has written. He says in one of his videos that the Quran is authenticated by God himself, and he wanted some signs. So can we say that if the Quran that's written is authenticated by God, that in, for example, Surah Al-Qalam, the Noon must be written like that with Noon, Waw, Noon? Can we see that as a proof?
No, by itself, Rashad was a human being like us. He was getting information from the Quran or from from ayah in the book, or ayah means signs in nature. And therefore, he was also learning and correcting himself. And his translation, he called it authorized by God, and which I believe so. My translation is also, I believe, authorized by God, because with good intention, we reflect the meaning of the Quran. It doesn't mean it is perfect, our translation, but for a person who wants to be guided, it guides to the truth, because we are not saying the Quran is not sufficient. We are not adding hadith, fabricated things. And there is no, at least there is no deliberate distortion like Sunni and Shiite tafsirs and the translations do. And therefore it is, but it contains errors, his translation and my translation too. And a human effort will never be without error, and therefore always subject to improvement. But despite those minor errors, I do think that it guides to the truth, and it is authorized by God, because it is a mu'min, a person, a monotheist who tries to understand, and that effort is authorized by God. But I'm not going to say is whatever he in his translation is without error. There are obvious errors. And 1 year I had discussion with him for a whole year, every day, daily, perhaps more than 10 hours from morning until even night. We were there together. And I was translating, making Turkish translation of the Quran. He was English, but we were always, after each page, we would come and discuss our translations. And but after Rashad Khalifa, there are some people who idolize him and start claiming his English translation as divine, which is absolutely wrong. And in fact, they start defending even some obvious spelling error. Oh, there is something like that. And it is insult to him, his message, or distortion of his message. And he never claimed to be as such. In fact, he made 3 revisions of his own translation. And therefore, I'm ready to discuss with those people who idolize him. But it is history repeats itself. I witnessed the history of Muhammad's friends. I lived similar experience in a very short time. I saw hypocrites, I saw liars, I saw people who idolize him. I saw weak people, I saw strong people at the same time. And I left that group when it turned to a cult of Rashadi cult. I left them. And some people who initially against me, and they also had to leave. In fact, one of them was Rashad's brother and sister. And later they were kicked out by those people who started idolizing Rashad. But it took them longer to find out, to realize what was going on. I was the first one who left that group, who just, I saw it, what was coming on, what was coming. Yeah.
More questions? Someone else, maybe?
Okay.
I have more.
Let me check. Let me meanwhile check what is going on YouTube chat. Maybe there are so many people writing. There are Turkish people writing. There are a few in maybe English. I don't know whether there is moderator. Perhaps some people may be cussing and with obscenities. I don't know. But so far it's okay. The earth is flat, is very hyperactive. Please, we have earth is flat guy. They are discussing. This is another issue. People get into conspiracy theories. Do you have any friends you know that believe earth is flat? They are everywhere, huh? I hope we don't have ammonia right now here. No one is talking. Everyone is so mute. Canan Kalash, welcome.
So Edip, so coming on to the question of the authenticity of Quran, recently there was a discovery of in a really old manuscript of Quran, right? In the Birmingham version. Did that in any way contribute in your research?
Well, that one, when I first look at it, I found out that that was a, hold on. Okay. I'm trying to find out that Twitter right now. Hold on, whether I can able to. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay. Birmingham, correct?
Yes.
Birmingham. I'm searching for them. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had on Twitter in my old Twitter address something about that. I wrote years ago. I said the manuscripts doesn't look like that old, the calligraphy of the manuscript. The copy and the carbon dating put it even the margin of error before Muhammad and some years after Muhammad. And it was a very big margin, in fact. I said, you know, there is a major error in this because I'm very familiar with the calligraphy of the Quran and the early manuscripts. I know that they have certain way of style of writing. And I said, this must be much older than it is claimed to be. And later on Twitter, there was an expert from Netherlands. His name was Merjan. I'm trying to find out his name. I couldn't find properly. There was word Marjan is in him. He's a scholar, expert on calligraphies of the Quran. Mm-hmm. And in one of the Twitter, he also, without me, independent of me, he referred to that. He said, this is, he analyzed the writing of the manuscript. He says this writing cannot be that old. It is much later. And then under Twitter, I congratulated him. I say, I congratulate you. And I came to the same conclusion independently of you. And you may find it, check Twitter, word what Marjan, his name. Right now I don't have really, I'm very tired, but go on Twitter, check the word Birmingham copy, calligraphy maybe. Not calligraphy, analysis. I misspelled analysis. I'm so sorry. I couldn't. What? John? Okay. You will find it, and I can check later. If I find it, I will put the link under the video as information. Please check the link. Okay.
But did that confirm, or was it did it not confirm to the 19 code that you already have?
Well, it was. I think there was 2 extra in the end of chapter 9, which we believe it was happened after the burning of the Muhammad's Quran, which the smoke from the history books, Sunni history books, says Marwan was the one who destroyed it. And there are stories that about it. They made up stories, false stories that the chapter 9, they were asking for 2 witnesses for each verse. And for these last 2 verses, they say there was no witness, and they were going to close it at verse 127. The scribes, imagine, after Muhammad. Imagine the Quran was left to the mercy of Sahaba long after Muhammad, 30 years after Muhammad, during Osman. And big lie. The Quran manuscript was written during the time of Muhammad by Muhammad himself. But later they burned that Quran, and later they fabricated lies. Oh, it was not collected. It was just on rocks, on bones, on skin. It was all over. And then Usman came 30 years later, collected, gathered them. Goodness sake, if God sends a book, God is not able to do it through his own messenger and will leave it at the mercy of people 30 years after his revelation is a big lie. And but that lie is fascinating because they say, well, there was Huzayma bin al-Yamani, and this guy, I don't know whether Huzayma or al-Yamani, and this guy says, I have 2 verses. Where is it? Well, these verses was revealed 10 years ago, means this chapter started from the end, backward. It is basically as an exception, the only exception in the Quran. This chapter supposedly was revealed from backward. These 2 verses came before the whole chapter, 10 years before. Well, I was in Mecca, and then I heard these 2 verses. And supposedly the scribe says, okay, bring another witness. And then someone appears there, lucky, says, well, I testify that Prophet Muhammad said, the testimony of al-Yamani, it is equal to testimony of 2 people. And then supposedly they accept these 2 verses. And therefore there is if any manuscripts contain these 2, they are after the burning of Prophet Muhammad's manuscript, and then after they played with it, they added this one by Umayyads.
Okay,
and again, the calligraphy, the analysis of calligraphy, I hope that you will find it by that scholar from Netherlands. His last name contains the word Marjan, but it was, I forgot his name somehow. And it was a beautiful analysis he did. Letter by letter, he was comparing with other manuscripts. He says, this cannot be. And I did it. I am not expert on calligraphy, but my elementary knowledge of calligraphy enough for me to know it, that nope, it cannot be as it is claimed.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anything else?
Hello.
Jana?
I have got a question.
Yeah, Ashikul Islam, go ahead.
Yes, why didn't any of the early scholars of Islam, like Ibn Taymiyyah and then Al-Ghazali, talk about this 19 miracle thing?
No one knew it. No one knew it, the implication of 19. Chapter 74, verse 30 says, on it is 19. And then the following verse says, let me find it for you, 74, 30. Okay, hold on. I will show only one Quran translation here. Okay, here. Do you see the whole page?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, come on. لَوَاحَةٌ لِلْبَشَرِ, they mistranslate this verse, all of them. Let me start from here. He said, in هَذَا إِلَّا قَوْلُ الْبَشَرِ, this is a human word, a word of human being. And then Sawsli Saqar, I will cast him in the Saqar. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا Saqar, do you know what Saqar is? لا تبقي ولا تذر, it does not spare nor leave anything. لواحة للبشر, manifest to all the people. But if you check other translations, you will see that they mistranslate it as burning the skin. I have a footnote here, or endnote. Here I expose their mistranslation. And look at the verses of the Quran. Nowhere the word bashar is not used for skin. The word skin in the Quran is jild, jalada. And then lawaha is the same, from the same root, lawha, that was given to Moses, screen or tablet. Yeah, manifest to all people. They say scorch the skin, has nothing. In fact, the word bashar, look at this. This is the word bashar, and it means a human being. In fact, they translate it here as bashar, as a human being. But when they come here, they translate this bashar as a skin. In fact, there is another bashar here. They translate as a human being. It's a sandwich between two other bashar. They translate both bashar as a human being, people, human, but when they come here, they deliberately make it skin, burning the skin, in order to distort it, basically. And then alayha tis'atashar, on it is 19. Now, this following verse, exactly a prophecy happened. Right now is happening, this one. We have made the guardians of the fire to be angels, controllers, and we did not make their number except as a test for those who have rejected, to convince those who were given the book, to strengthen the acknowledgement. Iman means acknowledgement, trust of those who have acknowledged, so that those who have been given the book and those who acknowledge do not have doubt, and so that those who have a sickness in their hearts and ingrates would say, what did God mean by this example? They will not understand it. When this question is used for ingrates, for mushriks in the Quran, it's not about their curiosity, search for truth. It is about their ignorance and lack of understanding. Thus, God misguides whoever he wishes, and guides, and he guides whomever he wishes. None knows your Lord's soldiers except him, but it is but a reminder for people. Therefore, God's angel is also, number 19 is God's angel, God's soldier. It's intellectual challenge. Many people thought it is hell, fire, but it is a metaphor. It's really isolated from hell, and it is their number, that very number 19, will do all this function exactly right now. There are people around the world who witness this number, and they are convinced, and their now acknowledgement, iman, is strengthened, and their doubt is removed about the Quran. But more people right now who have sickness in their hearts, who are ingrates, they are rejecting it. They don't understand it. By the moon, by the night when it passes, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذْ أَدْبَرَ وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا أَسْفَرَ, by the morning when it shines, إِنَّهَا لَإِحْدَى الْكُبَرِ, it is one of the great ones. نَذِيرًا لِلْبَشَرِ, a warning to people. لِمَنْ شَاءَ مِنْكُمْ أَن يَتَقَدَّمَ وَيَتَأَخَّرَ, for any among you who wishes to progress or regress. Beautiful. And the following verse, fantastic. Especially here comes verse 50. كأنهم حمر مستنفرة. They are like scared zebras, like fleeing zebras, scared zebras running from the lion. فرت من قسورة. And then it starts exactly with يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر. O the hidden one, stand and warn. Okay, I want to stop here. If there is no further question, I want to close this discussion here. There's no really discussion. I expected a more rigorous discussion, but I talk most of all the time.
I have a question.
Please, go ahead,
can you
Jana.
hear me?
Yeah, I do.
You wrote a wonderful book about üzerinde 19 var.
In Turkish?
Yes, in Turkish. I take always with me everywhere where I go, and nobody knows about this book. Is there any translation from that book in English or in German?
Well, I just saw, I have several years published this book, 19, God's Signature in Nature and Scripture. Didn't you see this one?
Yes, I have this book.
It is English.
No, I mean in German.
German, I'm asking in German. No,
yes.
Unfortunately, we don't have in German. And we need someone to translate this one, not the Turkish one, because Turkish one is very old. This is more comprehensive and updated.
But it is possible that we translate it in German?
Well, we need to look for it. We need to find, inshallah, someone.
If you agree, I can look for somebody else who can do it. And
of course, I'm ready. Anyone wants to translate, welcome, and can publish. I don't get money from these books. Anyone wants to publish it, no problem. God bless him. But I would like to be good translation. I hope you can find someone who can translate it. That would be fantastic.
Okay, I will try to find somebody else who understands this mission, because not everybody can translate it, you know.
It will be a little bit, requires some attention, because there will be some terminology needs to be distinguished in some words. Yeah, if someone who is more familiar, that would be easier, better translation.
Okay. I will look for.
Inshallah.
I will look for, inshallah.
Okay, everyone. And I will close here in 5 minutes. Just I want to leave you in silence. Who is Haku Haru? I don't know that person. Benjamin Chankrali did not talk. Oh, Samson, you are the one quiet.
I changed my name recently. I used to my kitten's name. That's why.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Benjamin, Najafi, you didn't talk at all?
Yeah, I didn't have a good connection today. I was keep getting cut off.
Okay. And meanwhile, I want to repeat my challenge. I repeat all the people who claims that the Quran does not have this numerical structure, which we have another one, like the frequency of the words according to their meanings, semantics, like the word month 12 times, singular of the word month, 12 times, the singular of the word yawm, day, 365 times, and many like that. We have several mathematical systems in the Quran, but the number 19 is the most comprehensive and prophetic one. And therefore the Quran says, إِنَّهَا لِأَحْدَى الْكُبَرِ, it is one of the greatest. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Take care. Nice meeting you here.
Thank you very much for this wonderful.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming over here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
And I would like to
alaikum.
hear your good news regarding German translation of the book.
I will look for, inshallah.